Alrighty, so let's call this meeting to order. It's 6:31. So a couple of things. First off the bat is all of you know Mike Mashburn has accepted the job of city manager at Princeton. And so they're having a going away shing ding for him tonight. So the reason I bring that up is I know a lot of you would like to attend that. So if possible, let's kind of cruise through this meeting as quickly as possible, but still getting done what business we need to get done. So I just want to kind of put that out there. Secondly, we had one of our board members, David Reed, has resigned, and mainly because he's had scheduling conflicts in the next 3 or 4 meetings. He's not going to be able to make those, so just felt it was better for him to go ahead and resign. But he would still like to volunteer as needed when we have different staffing events. So I'll keep that in mind. All right, so the first thing on the order is a motion to, hold it, we have a guest. And who are you?
Jennifer.
You're just here to observe and see what we do? Okay.
Yeah, I also have a suggestion on the event.
Okay, all
Do you
right.
have a citizen, did you fill out a citizen comment form?
I haven't.
Okay, I'll get you one.
All right. All right, well, we're glad to have you.
Go ahead. Yeah, you've got the floor. So for citizen comments.
Oh, okay. Well, I had sent an email in mid-October to the special events personnel. I don't believe I've received a response back, but I figure I'd get a response back because of all the events that were kind of in that time frame. But Monday, April 8th is a total solar eclipse that goes over Dallas, and the path to totality is over Dallas. The last time that there was a total solar eclipse over Texas was July 29th, 1878. So people took covered wagons and trains if they were ready to see them. But I would like to see if there was any interest in doing an eclipse event at like the Circle Park, or maybe a few at the various CFBISD schools. The actual like total solar eclipse occurs at like 1:40 p.m. A lot of school districts across the country are using their bad weather day on that day because it's just a cool event. There's like places where you can get glasses made with, information on it. So if we wanted to do like a Farmers Branch Stranding thing, this book is actually written by an Umberfile, which is someone that is a enthusiast of solar eclipses of all eclipses of all sorts. She's seen an eclipse on every continent. She lives in Farmers Branch. She's given a TED talk. It's online. I've seen her in person. She's super nice. She's interested in possibly getting involved. There's also, I'm an assistant scoutmaster for a girls and boys troop up in Plano. And there is a Boy Scout patch or BSA patch that they have added for like commemorating that event.
For that particular event?
Huh?
For that particular event or just?
Yeah, and like I went to the one in Oregon in 2017 with my mom, because I heard that from this lady actually that you saw it on like sand that like turns into like crystals. It was overcast. I didn't see it very well, but it was still a cool event. The traffic was horrendous, so that was the only reason I would suggest canceling school or early dismissal or something, just because the traffic is a nightmare.
How long does this eclipse last?
5 minutes, the totality.
Start to end is 5 minutes, yeah. So does it start
From 1:41 p.m. to 1:44 p.m.
1:41? It sounds like a really cool.
And it crosses right over the line of the Metroplex, and Farmers Branch is like right in the middle of it.
Have you mentioned this to any school people or?
Not locally. I mentioned it to Sally Garrett. She's my neighbor down the street. And then I emailed Sandy Carter and Megan Bernard on October 15th, but I didn't get a response.
I can speak to that for just a second. I haven't heard from Sandy or Megan about that, but we have been in communication with the Economic Development and Tourism Department to do something possibly collaboratively. I was talking to Ann Stokes, I think about 2 weeks ago, about doing something possibly at Hoya, at our new Hoya Park for that. So, I'm going to print the form, the citizen comment form. If you'll give me your information, I can follow up with you and let you know what we decide. And then if you want to get involved and help us, you know, in some way kind of coordinate and promote that, that would be fantastic if you're interested.
Yeah, I know my scouts are interested in getting their patch and a few of their schools already have canceled it. So if it's not, like, it's in the Plano Metro area, so if they're not doing something up there, then they'll definitely be interested in helping out.
Yeah, and I know Plano did something for the last one, and I think the Plano chamber might be doing something too, or Visit Plano. I think they're doing something. I've seen some stuff. So, but I'll get your information and that way we can connect and I'll follow up with you and let you know kind of what we're talking about. And that way, if you want to get involved, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Are you the center?
Yes, Maria Minter, yes. And I printed the form, I think, the front desk.
And if I could ask you, just for record keeping, what was your name again? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Sounds like a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I mean, the lady that lives in Farmers Branch, when I told her the meeting of the event center and the historical park, she was like, y'all could name it 1878 for the. I don't know if we can do that, but.
All right.
The other thing too, thanks for bringing this, is, I read an article in the paper about this. And whenever the next time this is gonna happen, I can't remember the exact date, but all of us might be alive.
Yeah, totally.
Several hundred years in the future.
That's what's depressing about eclipse, is knowing you're not going to see the next one.
Yeah,
Last one.
Yeah, yeah, like you missed this, but you can say, okay, I'll catch it next.
no?
No. No, you're not.
All right.
Okay, so thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you for-
being here.
Taking the time to come out and see us. Yes, Margaret.
So Maria, I know it's late, but maybe we could have the glasses provided like we had
Mhm.
before. So that, people will have those to protect their eyes.
I think we would do that and probably have some sort of branding on there too to promote, yeah. And we would have those ahead of time so people could pick them up at the different facilities. That's something we've kind of talked about. That's, yes, great suggestion.
All right. Anything else on that? All righty. Well, thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.
So let's jump over to C1, the motion to approve the November 16th, 2023 minutes as presented.
There's a correction needs to happen.
All right.
Because David Reed is listed as present and absent on the same, look at the document.
President, and he was, okay. So he was definitely absent. So we'll
Okay.
edit that to pick him off the present. Anything else? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I'll move.
Jan, second? Adrian? I'll slow down.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. All righty, so moving on to C2, receive recreation and athletics year-end report.
Is this, I'm not sure
I'll pull this up.
where, oh, I have it printed out, where I introduced the lesson that on another item.
You can do that now.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes to.
Jessica Harley, Recreation Manager. Today I'm going to introduce our newest team member. She started back in October, but with the holidays and all the events going on, we didn't have time to bring her and introduce her. This is Celeste Figueroa. She is our financial analyst here at the Recreation Center. And ever since she came on board, we have been so happy to have her to be a part of our team, and so I'll give her a second to speak herself.
Hi, I'm Celeste Figueroa, like Jessica said, I'm the financial analyst. I'm actually office right across the hallway. If you guys ever want to say hi or want to stay in there or around the building. I previously came from the city of Dallas. I was working at the city attorney's office over there for a little bit, and graduated from the University of North Texas, a political science degree and a minor in mathematics. So if you guys ever need any help or would like to talk about anything, I love to talk. I'm right across. If you guys ever want coffee with me, I love it.
Well, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. You've really gotten into a great, awesome group. So you're going to have they make this job a lot of fun. So you're really going to enjoy this.
I agree. Thank you.
And then I also brought my entire team up. Just to kind of, introduce us all really quickly. And then there's a highlight that I want to go over that it was a team effort. And so I wanted to bring them here to recognize them for this. So this is the Recreation Center team. We oversee the Recreation Center athletic operations and the Barneywood Park programming. Some of our goals for 2022-2023 fiscal year was empowering excellence, engaging, empowering, and expanding and balancing the book. So our cost recovery goal was 90%, and with the help of these wonderful team members, we achieved that 90% cost recovery. It definitely was not an easy task. It's more of like a bi-weekly crossing all of our dots, crossing all of our T's, dotting all of our I's, our expenses, our expenditures, and our revenues. And so when we would notice that one was going down, what could we do collectively as a team to increase the other one? So that way they were kind of evening out. And so our goal was monthly to hit an average of about 85% cost recovery, because then at the end, it would get us to where we needed to be. And it did just that. We were 90.11%. And so it's a little bit challenging when, you have to, we have a lot of seniors that come here. We don't want to, try to get rich off of seniors or anything like that. And a lot of youth that comes here as well. But our youth programs, our athletic rentals, our facility rentals, which also Amber oversees, and our membership retention and engagement programs help us sustain the revenue goal. Speaking of that, athletics reached a high of $148,000 in revenue, which is outstanding considering that we have started to do a lot of field closures to allow our fields to get a little bit more rest. You drive down Ennis Lane, there's more. You might notice a little bit more stress in the field. So Amber and the ball field team have been working to give it rest when we can. And then when we have like hotel tournaments, stuff like that, it'll be nice and free and ready for them. Again, the team achieved 90% cost recovery. We increased department-wide. So along with my colleagues, Paul, and also Branch Connection, we increased our Net Promoter Score of 6%. New programs, Jalton and Jalton, how can we enhance our revenues with youth programming outside of our youth camps? And so she brought back Art with Paloma, who was at the rec center and then kind of programmed out of the historical park, and now she returned to that. And then we moved Kids Night Out to an in-house operation where it's put on by our youth program staff. Whereas before, about 3 or 4 years ago, it was put on by an instructor. And so we're able to utilize and piggyback off of her leftover supplies from camp that we can use for this program, where we are able to keep the entire revenue that's generated off of that. There is a slideshow. I'm not sure. So it just has different pictures. And so, memorable moment. We also put on Easter Bunny Makes House Calls. We did Sensoryville at Halloween in the Park, which this Halloween was canceled due to weather. We do our dog park events. And then we did Special Olympics, which some of you also came to.
Are you doing the?
Yes.
Okay, let me skip ahead because aquatics is before that. Which one are you on? I can't see. Okay, Paul, you got it? Okay, because I can't see what you're holding from here. I have my glasses on.
It's plugged in.
Right there. You can go back one. Right here. So, and this picture with the ping pong table, that's one of our Kids Night Out events that we do in-house. And then that's Paloma, Paint to in Paloma, and then up at the top is Sensoryville at Halloween in the Park. For the next ball. Here, the little sunshine bowling, it's also with Summer Funshine, first day of Summer Funshine, Special Olympics, which there are some park board and council members and Mike Mashburn there. We have pancakes and pajamas up at the top with our team. Our dog park event, Easter Bunny Makes House Calls, again, a Sensoryville photo. We do collaborating with different departments and divisions within the city. And so we went out and supported the Branch Connection. They had a chair volleyball tournament We also Amber works with the fire department to put on a teen fire academy. It's a 1-week academy that occurs in the summertime. We kind of divide and conquer with programming there. And then for our teen leadership program that's housed here, we partnered with the SWAT team who utilizes our facility during the year to get some training in. And so I was like, hey, I let you use our facility. Can you come out and, you know, our team some things? So they came out and spent about a full day with our teams. Amber is also, she also partners with the economic development. So there's a thank you. We went to, we hosted a luncheon for a business partner in Farmers Branch. Then there's a picture down at the bottom with a couple of members from our department and residents at National Night Out, which we do every October. And then up at the top is a mixture of both of our teams, well, the entire team. So you've got youth program staff as well as recreational staff. We came in, I believe it was on Sunday when the building was closed. It kind of did some team bonding and engagements. Looking ahead, we are looking to achieve 100% cost recovery. You might look at it like, oh, that's just a 10% difference, but it's pretty much a high percentage. And so we're constantly, Celeste and I are in the books, in the numbers. She does really good at not letting me overspend sometimes. And so I believe with this wonderful team that we will achieve over 100% cost recovery. I say that. Develop and launch our youth program app. We have been working over the past year to develop the app. We do plan, it is launched. It's more of a soft launch, but a full on launch come this summer. And so that will be a great program for our parents. And therefore diversify and extend our concession stand offerings year round. So to have more coffee offerings, more donut offerings, stuff like that, like at the dog park. We have a couple of concession stands near Hoya. And so that might be a possibility along with food trucks and stuff like that, which the special events team would do that. And do you guys have any questions?
That last 10% is gonna really be tough. That's gonna be quite a feat that you guys do that. You know, we started talking about that back in 2018 about getting the cost recoveries up, and you guys, especially the rec department's done an awesome job. Nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Everything you do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Paul. I went ahead and was doing that. I was fighting against you on the clicker.
Yeah. All righty, so let's go to C3, which is receive aquatics year-end report. We're lucky to have Paul here. He's usually out speaking everywhere else.
He will be next week.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, now we got the phone group. Okay, so aquatics. We're gonna talk about Marty Young Natatorium, Frog Pond, and select special events. This was one of my favorite photos this year. There's alcohol in front of the frog. Never saw that. Saw this couple swimming around. I was like, hey, can we take your photo? Absolutely. If they blow up Instagram famous, I gotta give him a shout out. So
Yeah.
he got a few likes. All right, so what were our goals? Our goals was increase membership by 10%. Identify and develop membership campaigns to increase residents' membership. So this past fiscal year, we focused mainly on residents, trying to hit them. And provide services in the most efficient and effective manner possible. So that is internal and external. Those are our main goals this fiscal year. All right, so how did we do? So a couple of achievements we received. We won the North Texas Recreation Parks Society Award for our tour lesson program, Outlook, the Spanish community. We also won the North Texas Aquatic Association Agency of the Year Award. We achieved our record number in revenue, all-time number. We taught now over 900 individuals how to swim, 4,959 individuals participate in our fitness classes. That's a little lower than what I wanted, but our boiler was broke for a couple months, so I'm gonna blame that.
Okay.
Then we taught 174 individuals in our our American Red Cross program, and a lot of those kids worked for us, so we were able to be 96% filled for seasonal staff. So this is a typical day in the summer. Yeah, so what else did we do? Not all heroes wear capes, so one of my goals was to expand myself, so we did Spooky Pooch, which was the first event that the Aquatic Center put on at the dog park. We had a musician come out and play music. And we had dogs dressed up in their costumes. So here's Superman right there. Great event. And our event, it happened, bless you. We were the first event to charge vendors. So that year we had 11 vendors and our fee was $25. And we had a concession that we had at the Frog Pond. They just transferred over that year. So that was our first event that we did at dog park and that was successful. We had close to 500 humans there. That was on a Saturday night. We did letters to Santa again. That did very well. That year we had over 60 letters. Kids write letters. We revamped our program, how we track that. So we were able to capture more data from them. We entered them in our system ActiveNet. So we were able to retain their information and reach out to them next year. So that increased. That started from a small event and just has increased every year. We did Santa and Friends on the Move. That year we did 2 events. We split up into 2. We did the West Side, the first routes and ended up at Squire Park. Then 2 weeks later, we did the East Side and we then ended up at Kerr Park. We did an hour at each park. They were able to hang out with Santa and his friends and gather there. So that was able to help us prepare for one that was just recently happened, but both of them did well. It was well received by the community and our customer service. We continue to strive for that, reach out to them. We teach lifeguards how to life skills. And this past year, we had special guests come out to talk to them during in-service. We had finance come out, we had HR come out, and what was the third one? I can't remember the third one. Drawing a blank on that one, but with that, we submitted an award for that. We won that. So we're recognized by the Aquatics International for training, so. And the memorable event. So this one is in Colorado Springs when I talked about our social media. It was actually snowing that day. It was fun. It was actually real snow. So I missed that. That was a great event. We hired our new assistant manager. She does 3D printing. She printed that out, so she embraced our culture. This is from Spooky Pooch. That's Jet Platt. He played out there. That was well received. Top right corner is a little girl from our junior lifeguard program. She did well. Each of them got to shadow lifeguards, which they really enjoy. Far left is our letters to Santa. We redid that, so we bought a little mailbox there. It goes in the lobby, and this is just a close-up of a lifeguard during in-service. If you have your phone out, you're more than welcome to scan that QR code. It's going to take you to our Instagram page. You'll see fun activities there. So we'll pause. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do in 2024, we're gonna revamp our social programming and concessions at the Frog Pond. So we'll continue to sell alcohol. We are very busy during the summer. We realized we could sell more rentals in the afternoon and after-hour rentals. So we will not see any more special events taking up the time slot. So it's gonna be smaller events that will reach to the community or when Summer Funshine is there. Improve overall targeted community engagement. So we want to focus again on residents and also our seniors, which I believe we did. And you'll learn more about that next month in Q1. Increase programming attendance and concession sales by 10% from the previous fiscal year. So now that we've learned how we can handle alcohol, we have better data, which will prepare us for next year, what sells, which days. If we need to do any promotion. So this year was a learning year for us. So what our vendor, we did work together and what we both agreed what works and what didn't work. So then we're in the process, our building is, it's still young. We're gonna reach our 10th summer with our 9th year coming up. So we are looking for down the future, how can we enhance the grassy area in the frog ponds when you first walk in that grassy area there? How can we enhance it? How can we make our facility better? We have an amazing parks team, so right now we're in the beginning stages of thinking what to do with that. Any questions? Yes.
With the beer sales, were there any incidents this past year?
No,
Good.
I'm proud to say that now.
So last year you found you hit, I think you said 96% staffing. Do you think you'll be able to get to 100% this year?
No,
No.
no.
So
We had to hire 45 lifeguards, 6 cashiers, 5 head guards, 11 indoor guards. We had seasonal, we were 96. I think we ended up with 43 lifeguards for seasonal out of the 45. Cashiers was filled, head guards was filled, indoor head guards was filled. That was actually pretty good for us. So I was able to balance the guards getting hours and not working them over much. So
Yeah.
it is hot. So we make sure that they have breaks. We don't do double shifts, but they don't have a double or triple. So they do like 3 hours, typically like 3.5 hours, and they'll be done. But yeah, we'll probably reach goals of around 95, 96 again.
So you still having the same hiring issues from last year?
No, but we did raise our rates, so we're good. We're continuing to find, aquatics to recycle. It's a huge turnover, so I probably will lose half my staff because of graduation and internships, but that's normal.
And this kind of goes to the rec center too. But with the branch connection being closed now throughout the summer, do y'all anticipate any kind of parking problems? Because I know it's already picked up
That's
tremendously.
a normal weekend for us. This is actually calm.
Well, no, I'm just saying, once the pool opens,
The
And
Bridge Connection, they'll move their programming to an offsite location. So beginning the month of May, since, we start our trainings mid-May, they're just gonna not have anything here the month of May, June, July, and we go through the first week of August.
What does,
So,
what goes through?
the summer sunshine.
So we don't have space here, right?
Yeah, so there will be no programming here or at the aquatic center, so there won't be any influx in traffic. From
I think-
Bridge Connection.
I think what he's asking about is because some of the since the branch connection is going to be shut down for about 10 months and some activities will move over here, how will that affect the parking, the additional load of seniors coming over?
They've already started their programming here.
right?
Okay,
And it's been noticeable for us that use the rec center and the aquatics.
Yeah, during the summer, they'll be offsite, so during May and August, they won't be in our buildings, rec center or the aquatic center.
Okay,
They'll be offsite, so they'll be away. Yes, there is attendance increase, not only because January, New Year's resolution, but also programming, meetings, and the club.
And can I add something to that too? And with a lot of the activities offered at the Branch Connection, they're during non-peak hours. So when it's really crowded here, the before work crowd and the after work crowd, there's not a whole lot of stuff that the Branch Connection has going on at these facilities. They're here, kind of during business hours.
And we work.
So,
with-
and it's not as busy
We
during the
work with
day.
the manager at my facility, it's now during slow times, when things happen, so.
Yeah. The parking, it's been a challenge since we reopened after the renovation. And luckily, the school district's been very gracious and lets us use their lot after hours across the street for overflow and during the summer months too. So at the volleyball courts and at Blair, they're very gracious and let us use their
and those
lots.
parking lots will be empty during the summer when the pool's open and everything. too, and that'll help. with the
That's where we make our staff park. They have to go across. Yeah, we gotta save the, we gotta save the close spots for our
Yeah.
members, so, yeah.
Any other questions?
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Jessica, and just so impressed with what you guys have done. It's really, thank you very much. The question I've got, and forgive me, I know this is gonna come across like a nit. First of all, I am so impressed that we actually get these reports, we get them in color, and it's so impressive. But if you look at Jessica's, all her numbers, FY 22 to 23 is all in green, so then you can see the color coding from year to year. But then you go over to the aquatics, and then it's a different color, and then aquatics, the last one has two that are blue. And I'm just so impressed we actually get something in color. But all I'm saying is just get together and say, okay, when we do our FY 18 is gonna be orange, I mean, 19 and 20 is gonna be good. So that way, when you look at someone like us that gets this, and look at the whole package, it's just kind of and once again, I'm sure I'm being very nitpicky here. It's so wonderful we get this, but just be consistent. So that we can always, when I'm looking at your report and her report, it's all, okay, FY 22 to 23 is green. That's what we're looking at. Whereas now it's like, oh, no, here, there's two blues, here it's an orange, it just,
Okay.
if you guys can just get together ahead of time.
We'll pick the same graph.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's, once again, great content. The story you have to tell is fantastic. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's
If you
just-
can't tell, he's an accountant.
I'm sorry, we audit everything.
But unfortunately, he's not colorblind,
I'm just impressed we actually get reports in color. I'm just saying, one little just coordination will make, and it makes us look like we're all singing from the same, we're all in sync, if you will.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
All right, thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All righty, let's move to C4, special events year-end report.
Bye,
Hi, Jeff Fairchild, Special Events Manager, and our board, covers the month of July. Because I feel like we need to take the opportunity to kind of walk you back a little bit to earlier in 2023, because that's gonna explain the, going from 5 events in 2022 down to 2, and what was happening, why those decisions were made, and then kind of recapping that and then looking ahead to 2025, because our division is going through a lot of changes that are affected by the new event center, changes that are affected at the Grove with the construction and why that event was moved over to the Christmas event, and with the Hoya, and what does that mean? That was in the discussion. So back in early 2023, this was January, February, we were asked by City Council to make a presentation regarding special events. The thought, feeling was looking at the numbers, staffing, we were doing too many, and to pull in the numbers that were, 3 events in December, the first 3 Saturdays in December, for example, 6 didn't drive lives. And it was, council said, what can we do? There's also the discussion of Viva Farmers Branch. We've done 2 years. Thought was, what can we transition that event into and more multicultural? So there were a lot of things that were being discussed at that time. And council was like, where do we see this going? So the decisions were made at that time to scale back December, go from 3 events down to 1. Take money from those 2 other holiday markets. And I'm kind of getting off, but I feel like I need to kind of tell this story.
Background.
It goes into 2025. Enhancing the Christmas event, the tree light, I'm gonna call that. Scaling back, didn't drive lives, the September, the August, September ones. The family nights that we used to do out there at Historical Park. What would that look like if moving those to Hoya? I mean, the park is not even open. There were 250.
Oh, my gosh.
This afternoon already. They're playing. The park is not even officially open yet. And so how would that be programmed? So we kind of scaled back this year, in 2023. We went from 6 didn't drive lives to 4. So that's why you see in the month of August, September, we only did 1 in that 4th quarter there. Viva Farmers Branch transition into this new event that's going to come up next March, or this March, Gateway to the Globe. That was the decision of council. So we did not do that one last September. So that event was taken off. So the numbers you see here, you see that, obviously a decline in attendance in that quarter and quarter four, decline in revenue, it all commiserates with going from 5 events down to 2. And so, but even then, it's looking at our department now and looking at, as you just heard from presentations from aquatics and rec center, these guys were doing Halloween in the park. You've got the Branch Connection does fishing fun. And so, you're kind of taking this high level look at our entire department and saying, what makes sense? Because what makes sense 10 years ago, when these events were spread out amongst all the different divisions, may not make sense today because of the change in the facilities and the focus on cost recovery and everything. So now we are moving forward with a new plan, even for 2025, as our team will be taking over Halloween in the park in 2025. Paul Macias and you guys are going to do Halloween in the park for this year. Even then, this is your first year doing it. So we're kind of moving around a lot of moving parts. Our team is also going to take over fishing fun. So, and take that out of the Branch Connection, because obviously once, I think what we've learned here is when a building gets redone, all of a sudden, well, they're running the gun and taking fishing fun from the Branch Connection, putting that under special events. Well, then it kind of all starts making sense and gets back into special events team doing special events, because both those events pull your staff, pull you out of your facility to do that. The toll that it took on Jessica and her staff to go put on Halloween in the park. You can probably speak better to that. You just do the event. I mean, you can't run a facility to the standards and expectations that the city wants and try and do an event like Halloween in the park. Put it under special events. And then this year, Bloom and Bluegrass, we may have to move that because that's 1 week prior to Halloween in the park. And I told leadership here, our team cannot do those back-to-back weekends. That's taking a toll. We cannot, we don't have the bandwidth to do that. So we may be moving Bloom and Bluegrass up a little bit, maybe in September. So a lot of things are kind of going through some motions, but this kind of lays the groundwork of, well, gosh, you guys went from 5 to 2, but yes, now moving forward, it's going to balance out. The special events team will be doing those events. And where does Floyd fit into this? I don't know, but the event center, they're going to be doing weddings. You hope that thing is going to be programmed every single weekend, because now that goes into the discussion of maybe Denton Drive Live will take place at Floyd. I don't know. We're kind of all over the place. I'm sorry to sound scattered, but I was reading through this. I'm like, y'all need to understand the perspective of what was going on back in February of 2023 that led to this, and where we think in 2025 we're going to land. And it may take a couple of years for us to kind of
Flush it all out, yeah.
But I think we've got a good plan, and I think it's going to make sense in the end. We're excited. I think just seeing what Hoya can bring, when the construction finishes at the Grove, I don't know. They've already told us this year there's no events at the Grove. We have pulled out, and we're doing all of our Denton Drive Live at the Grove. That's a combination of several reasons.
Out at the historical park?
I'm sorry,
No.
One from the Grove Historical Park, and that's due to the construction that's going to start there on Denton Drive. At one time, the homeless issue is becoming problematic at the Grove.
Can I ask you a quick question on
Yes,
this?
sir.
So tell us, what is the construction on Denton Drive?
Well,
It's disrupting the Grove.
it's going from 4 lanes down to 2 with 2 bike lanes.
Okay,
Traffic
They're-
calming.
Yes.
What'd you say?
exactly.
Traffic calming.
okay,
They're basically making it more pedestrian friendly.
Mhm.
okay.
And they're tearing down with the old Carrollton Tech Center, right
Yeah.
across from the Dallas Stars Center, and building I know something.
On Valley View, you mean, that the buildings?
No,
It's on,
No, it's that new sports complex.
Oh, they're tearing it down?
yeah,
and
it's,
building it up?
they're gonna do some,
Well, it's their,
yeah.
it's the sports
There
complex.
is a lot planned for that area.
Mhm.
In fact, that's why we pulled out the Christmas event and put it in the
Yeah.
historical park, because we were told construction was going to start like in early November.
I guess I was just thinking that all the parking for the Grove, for like Denton Drive Live and stuff like that, is done in the dark parking lot. There's really no parking on Denton Drive. And why that would disrupt the Grove.
Well, we have an agreement with DART to allow us to park in their parking lot. And then patrons have parked across the street at the Star Center, and that's
Okay.
support, that's been the Grove. So I'm excited to see what happens over there
Yeah.
eventually, and who knows, we may move things back there. I mean, we put a lot of infrastructure.
I mean, I was just curious. I'm not advocating one or the other. I was just trying to understand it. So when people ask me,
But for 2024, we pulled out all the Denton Drive lives, it'll be at the historical park,
Okay.
and the Christmas event that we just did at historical park will take place again there. This year, I think it was a huge success, and how that thing was received, and, you know, trying to figure out what to do with the Christmas tree, because we don't think we're gonna put it back in the grove. Kind of doesn't make sense to put it back in the grove again for 2024. We're kind of figuring out where that's gonna land, because you can't just put that up anywhere. It's gotta have a certain plan for that, so. And that's another thing that our special events is also in charge of, is the holiday decor, the contractor, that does the rented decor, the tree, the lights, the wrapping, we're also responsible for that, so. Just kind of want to give you, I felt it's important to understand the perspective of what was in 2023, where we're going in 2024, and how that will also change in 2025. So,
When are they reducing the reconfiguring the road on Denton Drive?
now we were told like 1st of November, and then
So they're doing all of that before the 35 or change.
I can get it, that's a public works project, and so I don't think we have all the details on that, so I can, get some information and provide an update on Denton Drive on the construction. We just know how it impacts our department, but we don't have all of the details. I know it's gonna be a long process, because they're gonna try to just get it all done in a multi-year project on Denton Drive, so it's gonna be close. It wouldn't just be where we couldn't have Denton Drive live this year or Christmas this year. It's gonna be the next year and the next year and possibly the next year, so, yeah, it's because they're gonna do, there's a lot of, so rather than just have construction fatigue and do it in segments, like let's just get it done. So, but we can get some information and provide that, and I can email you when we communicate about the, Eclipse, event. I can send you an update on that.
I shut that on the high train. On that one?
That's gonna be a Jeff.
good question. And
That's-
it was not agreed upon to put it out this year. The Stars actually came to us and said, that land, that parcel of land has now been sold. We understand it's gonna be redeveloped as part of this whole vision. So at some point, the city will have to decide, we own that rink. The Stars store it for us and they manage it for us in that arrangement, but we own the flooring, all the cooling, all the coils, we own that. So I don't know, the city will have to decide what to do with that. Fortunately, it's being stored by them, but at some point,
I had a lot of people disappointed that that wasn't up this year.
sure.
So that it's almost become a signature item, co-branded between the Stars and us. And so I think we need to seriously,
has any discussion been made about putting it in a historical park during Christmas?
Well, the challenge with that is that the Stars manage it.
Okay,
And that is the proximity and the center of having their staff, the skates, everything right there.
okay,
The-
I got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so.
I didn't think
you're
about
right,
skates.
you Kick it around like, okay, where did this go? But you're always tethered to the Stars.
To the
because they need
Stars.
Proximity to their building.
And that is something that's been already kind of discussed, and we don't have a final decision on it yet, but it is something that our department and city management is mindful of, that we have this and we're gonna have to make a decision on how to move forward with it.
How to deal with it.
Yeah,
Well, when they start building that sports center there by the Star Center, between that and Denton Road, there's gonna be nothing but construction going on
Sure.
in that area for the foreseeable couple of years.
Is the lighting through the local park ever gonna return? I know that they'll probably suspended that until like 35 is probably complete.
no, the Tour of Lights, that program, that's not, there's no plans to bring that back. It became a traffic nightmare.
Yeah,
It was backing up traffic on 35 and 635, and a good problem to have, because it's a lot of
Yeah.
people want to come see it, but it ended up being a safety issue.
Yeah.
And with the DART train coming through, having people with that, not being able to control the traffic right there.
Yeah, that's why I was curious about reconfiguring that
Mhm.
is gonna reduce the capacity even more so, so.
Mhm. Yeah, because it did come up again. Last year, there were conversations about possibly bringing back Tour of Lights. But then after discussions, it wasn't something feasible. And then with the success of the Christmas event at the historical park. I mean, your numbers were skyrocketed this year from previous years. So,
You went from like 5,000 to 7,000 people, yeah.
so it was, yeah, so it's,
Without a tree light. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Nobody even missed it.
I know. I mean, it was- I-
The drones made up for it.
Well, the kids were like yelling out, trying to guess the next shape with the drones. It was so cute. A shape would come and they started figuring out, oh, it's changing. They're like, Snowman, Santa. So they enjoyed it.
it's like a trivia game.
Yeah, it
In
was.
the air.
They really, all of them.
Air
just started
trivia.
And,
yelling
and
out,
Santa,
trying to
even,
guess.
see Santa, that stopped for a while, because everybody was staring at the drones,
Yeah.
so the lady gave Santa a break.
Oh, it is. I don't see all that. By on stage. But anyway, just, Independence Day was a great event. We, if you remember, I hate to kind of take you all the way back to July, but we rented a bigger stage. We expanded that look, the whole branding of the event really looked phenomenal. The stage, it was almost twice the size of the stage we've been bringing out before, and it just really looked amazing. And our show, it's about 17 minutes, that low level show, it's amazing. We'll continue, doing our non-residents, charging the $5 there. That seems to kind of find that balance between the number of non-residents and residents, what we were seeking when we implemented that 6 years ago. But that event continues to be just one of our signature ones. We hang our hat on, but yes, just want to explain why we went from 5 to 2 and the kind of overall vision of special events, really just 3 years. Yes, sir.
So Jeff, thanks so much. So one thing you talked about, the Bluegrass Festival, and this is the first time I've ever been to it. It's an amazing event, just fantastic. And you just mentioned that they may have to move the date. One of the many things I was impressed about is you had some big names there, big name performers there. So you already know this, I'm sure, but just be word of caution, you start talking about moving the date. I know you gotta book those acts way ahead of time, so just be careful with that, because it was just, you had some really big time talent
And
at that event.
what's also kind of driving that is apparently in North Carolina, there is a new festival that is now landed on the same weekend as ours, which is making it a little more challenging. Because if you think about bluegrass in Texas, a lot of these bands are flying in. They're not like they're routed, they're touring through here. and Going to, up like in the bluegrass and Appalachian area. So we're having to fly bands in. And so it's not the most, so they're probably looking at those events. They can, hit 5 or 6 places around there.
Could be
So
closer.
that's kind of what's driving, late September, just maybe not to get off that weekend, but we've got to have a little break with our team to be able to do that and then do the Halloween.
and that wouldn't happen until 2025. So 2024, we're already, dates are set, bands are already booked.
Okay, yeah.
And it would be for 2025 and
Book the lineup this year, it's done deal, so.
With the bluegrass, with moving it, I'd be more concerned about the heat issue than
Sure.
in the weekends. That's another double whammy with you.
It's Texas.
Doesn't bother me at
it
all.
could be 60, it could be
I still have
95, you know.
I still have my tan, but there's a lot of people that don't like heat.
Anything else?
Oh,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to mention too, I thought Jeff and his team did an amazing job at the Christmas event this year.
yeah.
I said, and I've worked out at the historical park for many years, many different events, and it felt so different. And I told Jeff that, I said, I walked through the meadow and I didn't even feel like I knew exactly where I was. Like it was completely transformed and just so many different inflatables and photo backdrops and just kind of stepping back and watching all the families and the kids just having so much fun and just so much attention to detail. It was really amazing.
Really?
It was a Hallmark. It was like a Hallmark scene,
And-
Hallmark movie scene.
Well,
And the historical park lends itself
Oh,
to that type of
absolutely.
environment.
Yeah,
You know,
so,
I agree.
I
yeah,
know the Santa house was
Bye, Paul.
was a lot nicer set up. The Santa house was really set up much better.
mhm.
You get a 20% increase in attendance. It did not seem crowded.
Yeah.
Well, and for years, people had wanted to walk through when we couldn't let them, when we'd say, no, I'm sorry, we're driving, you can't walk through. So that answered a desire for many people, I think, was to be able to walk through with their family and their
Yeah.
kids and.
And I think we'll be able to decorate some more because, the funds that we were putting like Liberty Plaza, To decorate the red, white, and blue pecan tree, that's $8,000 a tree. And if we're gonna pull out of that area, you know, maybe we can put that money somewhere else and enhance, you know, the event center. But I think you'll see a little different look next year, because it just doesn't make sense to spend all that money on every plaza or at the Grove for Christmas when there's not construction all over the place. So I'm hoping we can do that.
And also thank you to everybody who helped out there too. I know that was kind of labor intensive
That
and
was fun.
yeah.
So
and-
much
It was fun.
So thank you so much. It was so great to see everybody out there and it takes a lot of moving parts and a lot of hands and we can't do it without volunteers. And so thank you so much for being out there. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
And I think it worked well. It wasn't perfect maybe, but having them go around the gazebo and
Yeah.
then come in.
Yeah.
That gave them a natural flow.
Yes.
Which seemed to work well.
And that's the first time we've done it that way. So
Yeah.
if anybody else has feedback on that, just feel free to email it to me and Jeff and we can visit about it. I can share. it. Yeah.
You know, when I go through there and I look, I kind of envision how I think it would work. But 9 times out of 10, it's the front line when you go there that night, like, we need to tweak that, tweak this, so please let me know.
Yeah.
Well, the workflow was perfect. I mean, it was easy to manage people and, I mean, I don't think you could have done it any better.
Yeah, I'll email you all this, but the only cutesy thing was like a stroller parking sign, maybe in the red and white. Cause everyone was trying to figure out where to put their
Yeah.
strollers, so like a little North Pole sign for stroller parking.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Cause then
Yeah.
you could tell them to kind of, here, put it there, cause
Yes.
it cannot go around.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. But
Well, yeah.
you'll email, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great suggestion. So thank you.
all righty. Moving on to C5, receive Parks and Recreation Departmental update.
All right. Okay, I will do the Reader's Digest version, but if you've got questions, please feel free to let me know. John Burke, there's not really a whole lot of updates. There's still a few things with the restroom. I found out too, they're gonna have to replace the locks out there. Right now, the restroom doors don't lock, but they're not being used anyway, so they're gonna have to change those out. Hoya, we've talked about Hoya. It's the fence is down, there's people out there. The lights, it's not lit tonight or tomorrow night. It was last night for the preview, but it'll be lit Saturday night and then every night thereafter, it's gonna be lit during the evening hours. If you remember last night, we have the lights that kind of go around. They're not the glow lights, but the lights that are on the poles. Those will be on overnight. Not the purple ones, but they're on poles and they shine down. So those are dark sky friendly, bird friendly. They shine down, so they don't point up, but those will be on throughout the night as security lights. So those will not shut off, but
The walkway, right?
yes, yeah. So again, grand opening Saturday, 6 to 9, come and go. It's gonna be a little different than last night. We will actually have Tom Field closed. So there's gonna be some traffic, some parking, that's gonna be a little bit challenging. We have, parking will be for the public, mostly at the businesses around. Jeff has been so nice and walked around to literally walking into the businesses saying, can we please use your parking lot? So, at the businesses surrounding there, anywhere else I'm forgetting? The 3 churches closer to City Hall.
So across the
And you
street.
can walk, we'll have a crosswalk and we'll have PD. We'll have police, right, on Valley View? No? Citizens on patrol helping with,
Parking.
okay. So Jan's like, what?
That's not part of what I've seen in the assignment
Okay.
with Valley View, but they may rearrange it.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that's been part of the conversation, was
Okay.
having them on. I mean, there's crosswalks, but
Right.
just to support
Okay.
additional
I just
support.
didn't see
Could
it
you
on
just,
the
could you just
assignment.
park on the road around the Rose Gardens and stuff?
Yes.
You can just park in.
Are you talking about like when you turn in to go by?
Yeah, and you're going through the Rose
That
Garden.
parking lot will be open. Yeah. If it's
And there's
not full.
parking at Pepper.
So, yeah, you could park at Pepper, park and walk
Pepper,
over.
then
But
You can walk over.
you won't be able to park on Tom
You just
Field
feel
or in that Oran Good parking lot right behind the park. So just govern yourselves accordingly.
Yeah.
So,
Why they shut the Oregon Good parking?
we have Jeff, we have that, is that closed off for fireworks and for media parking
We're good.
or in good parking lot?
It'll be open.
Oh, that's open. Oh, just kidding then. Why did I think that was closed? I don't know.
Is there gonna be fireworks?
Yeah, there's gonna be a little fire, it's called a fireworks sprinkle.
From where?
So from the softball field area.
So in
top.
softball too?
But Oregon Good Park, you'll only be able to access it from Valley View. The north entrance will be, just from the VIP or the council and for.
Oh, the front, okay, that's right.
Yeah, so you can be off Valley.
So if you're heading west on Valley View, you would turn in, which is by Oregon Good Baseball Field 1, if that makes sense.
And you can park in there,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, so if you pass, before you get to Dennis, there's a little turn in to go into the baseball field, so there.
Is, do we need to be like somewhere at a specific time?
No, not necessarily. Well, the mayor is gonna do a few remarks and well, if he's there, I think he may be there, or Councilmember Jackson might be in his place if he's not there. There'll be a few remarks,
What time?
6:00, and then
Actually, it's like 6:20.
oh,
Oh, the
6:20.
6:20, yeah.
Say I
Wouldn't be a 6, would it?
Okay.
The park.
Jeff knows more about this than I do.
Fireworks go off and it's basically the park takes over.
What time does the fireworks go off, Jeff?
6:30-ish.
6, so the mayor will talk before that or after that?
It's not actually a countdown. He'll say some remarks. I don't know if Mike Mashburn will say something.
He might, I didn't prepare talking points for him, but he doesn't need them. He knows everything about that, so.
It'll be a kind of a gradual, because there is no, I learned last night, you can't just hit a light switch at the park. It's like a 2-minute computer warm up.
Yeah. It's like a server, so.
Yeah.
It's not like a 5, 4, 3,
It's
2, 1
compact.
thing. So
I don't know if, I don't know if Compan's gonna be there.
Who?
They designed and built, part of the playground. They designed the playground and built part of the playground.
Right.
And then Dean Construction did the rest of it, and then, of course, electricians and stuff. I'm not sure if they're gonna be there. That's a good question. I'm not sure. So, I don't know. I think so. We will have someone there from Texas Parks and Wildlife, but I don't think they're gonna get up and have any remarks. So, event starts at 6, I guess, mayor 6:20, fireworks, it's literally a 1-minute firework thing, and then the park's open. We'll have food trucks there, and so it'll be food for purchase, and it goes till 9, and people don't have to leave at 9, but that's when the event part of it's technically over. So that will be fun. So that's the update on Hoya. The big sign will not be there. It's not ready yet. It's supposed to be here next week. So we'll have a temporary pretty sign, but the actual permanent sign that's, I think it's like 8, 9 feet, something really, maybe 10 feet, the Hoya sign. It'll be in next week. Venue 1842, which is the event center over at the historical park. That's coming along. Last update was the HVAC was mostly finished. Insulation's being added. The website is up. Rentals are currently being accepted. They're finalizing. They've already done the branding. Marketing and promotion plans are in place. There's a Venue 1842 Instagram page. So if you're on Instagram, you can go follow that. And we will have a grand opening event sometime in the spring. We just don't have a firm date exactly yet. So as soon as we know, then we will pass that on.
Before the April banquet?
Oh, it will definitely be, that's probably gonna be the first, that'll be the test run.
Is that similar to the date of how close is that to the date of the eclipse?
The eclipse is on the 8th, April 8th.
April 8th.
This was April.
The banquet is the 6th.
Okay. So
That'll be at
it
night
will
though.
look really good at about the time of the eclipse.
So I will check with, yes, so I'll have to see if it's available.
Maybe they can make
Well,
that.
let's say
yeah.
people go in, but you're going to want to be outside during the eclipse anyhow.
Oh,
There will
yeah.
be a really good backdrop
Yeah,
for the eclipse.
You talking about a theme for the,
Just to promote.
Yeah, to promote that it's there. Nothing's done.
so
we could all wear, we could all.
That's
wear
the-
3D glasses.
Like, wear this with your bridle down. You're
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah, I was like, 1878, the last time. You kind of use the backdrop of the, like, restored buildings, the old farmhouses and stuff like that.
That'd be cool. Okay, branch connection, the branch connection is closed now. They're finishing up, moving everything out, or not, I shouldn't say out, into the ballroom, because they're not renovating the ballroom right now. So everything that's in the building that they're keeping is moving into the ballroom. Jackie and his team are kind of dispersed. We've got two of their full-time staff members officing here, and their part-time staff over here to help with the programming, serving their members and making sure things are as seamless as possible. So they've got, and Bob and I met and talked about this too, about their programming. They've got activities going on here. So a lot of the things they were doing over there, they've moved over here. Some of their smaller programs are in the party room next door at the Aquatic Center. They're also using the library. They're still doing their Monday night dances. They're not able to do them every Monday night. They're doing them once a month, and they're using the Nancy Watton Technology Center. That is a beautiful facility. It is gorgeous. If you have not seen it, it's amazing. I went to an event there a couple months ago, and so they're using that once a month. So they're still doing a whole lot of stuff, making sure there's a lot of social, fitness, recreational opportunities for the 50 and better folks. So it's still hopping. We've still got a lot of people that are active. And also, even if they don't come to a program or an activity, they can still come in and use the rec center with their current branch connection members. So we're honoring those here. They can come in. We're not saying, oh, you can't use the fitness equipment. Like, they can use the fitness equipment. They can use the walking track. So we're trying to give them as much of the experience they're used to. So it's been good, and those teams are working together, making sure we're meeting those needs.
Just curious, I used to do a first Monday of the month breakfast.
They're not able to do the breakfast because we just don't have the kitchen,
Yeah.
like the prep area. That's the one thing that they're not able to do. Yeah.
Curious.
I know I liked going over there to chat with people and those.
Did y'all get more and better bids out of your second round?
I'm sorry. Yes. So, let me back up a little bit. I'll try to be quick on this. So I haven't seen you guys in a while. I forgot. So in December.
So I was curious.
Okay, so in December, the renovation project went to council, and it was approved for the phase 1, which is it's certain portions of the facility. It excludes the ballroom, the kitchen, offices, and the yoga room, but it includes, the renovation will include the craft room, the lobby area, adding the theaters, the new billiard area, a library. So I think that covers most of it. So the bathrooms are not included in the phase 1 of the renovation. That's phase 2. So phase 2 would be everything else and the furniture and fixtures. So the bids came in, the bid that we went with was a company called Ruddick, and their bid came in at just under 2.7 million. We have 2.1 million available for funding. So we're about $600,000 short. And so we're using some additional CIP or capital improvement project funds to cover the shortfall. However, that only covers phase 1. So for phase 2, it's going to be part of the bond package that's going to be up for vote in May. So they had a bond town hall last week, and there'll be a few more of those. There's several things on the bond. 2 of those are parks related. One is Squire Park, and the other one is, of course, the branch connection phase 2. So, and then there's a few other projects that are not parks related. So that will go in May. The renovation the branch connection will be closed. So if that part of the bond gets approved, then the facility will just remain closed, and they'll just continue renovation. We're not going to open it up and then shut it back down. It would get approved while it's closed. So we'll just keep going. And we've already had these discussions with the construction company. And so we're kind of in a holding pattern as far as planning for phase 2, but phase 1 we're ready to kick off. So branch connection staff is wrapping things up. The team will mobilize February 12th, and that's when the demo is going to start. So, and timeline is roughly 8 months. So, so that's what we're meeting with we meet, bi-weekly with the project manager and with the stakeholders. And so we're getting regular updates. And I feel pretty good about it. So it's moving forward. Things are happening.
And Maria, does the 8 months include phase 2?
No, that's
Okay.
just phase 1.
Okay. I heard somebody make a comment the other day and I thought they were incorrect, but I wanted to.
That's phase 1. Yeah,
Okay.
that's just for phase 1.
Okay.
So, yes,
That's good news then, if you got more bidders.
yes, we had 10.
That's good.
We
That's
had
much
10. Yeah, yes, we had choices.
A question for you. So I went to that bond meeting
Mhm.
and there's the 5 different potential projects. So one of them is Squire Park. So I'm just curious, how did Squire Park get picked? Is there some kind of rotation or how was it decided? Okay, this is the park that we need to renovate compared to any
I
other
can
park?
take a little bit.
You want to speak to that?
So how that got started is when we were doing the Viva Night Out, they noticed there was a ton of people congregated at Squire Park. And that's really, in a nutshell, how it got done. All of a sudden they realized, well, this is a park that a lot of people go to, gets a lot of activity. And so I kind of think of that as part of as we repurpose or as the needs, as the population changes within Farmers Branch and we see people gravitating to different areas like the dog park, sand volleyball pit, Squire Park. It looks like there are a lot of people like to congregate there. So let's spruce that up next.
That was kind of the impetus for it was, the turnout we had at the National Night Out in, I think that was 2022. So this is Squire Park's been talked about and then put on the back burner and then talked about. And so now it's back up again. So, and if you're not aware, it's not an all or nothing thing with the bond. They can say yes to Squire Park, no to the branch connection, so it's not an all or nothing. So, so we'll wait and see, and there'll be more town hall meetings. So just stay tuned if you're interested in attending those. And then we should know more. Yes.
So my just initial reaction was that all 5 sounded like good projects. And in terms of dollar amounts, I mean, if you didn't do them, it didn't sound like you're gonna save a ton of money, each one of the homeowners here. So why would anybody not want to do Squire Park? What could possibly be the reason not?
Yeah, there's some,
Residents have said they don't want it because of the on-street parking that will come to their neighborhood.
It's
The
going to
immediate
completely
residents.
change the neighborhood because it then becomes a destination. And right now it's a little pocket park with, beautiful trees and whatever. The park definitely needs to be updated. The facilities are sad.
And it needs some parking. There's no place, the only place to park if you're gonna go to that park is on the street.
And parking
So
is
if we-
included in that, in the bond.
But that's also tearing down the grove of trees to put the parking in.
Yeah.
Which a lot
Well,
of people have
yeah.
issues with.
Well, and they talked about putting in some additional trees out there too after that.
It
And
takes 100 years
So
for a tree.
does anybody talk to the people who live around there to see if there are people who live around there all lathered up about, oh my gosh, don't do this, or is this other people? I'm just curious, once again, why would anybody not want to do this?
well, so there's always a happy medium somewhere. So people want a park. Sometimes we over embellish it and want to give them this huge thing and maybe they don't quite want that. So so the neighbors have been talked to a lot. So that's how we're getting feedback. Oh, yeah, we like this, but no, we don't like that part, but we like this, but we don't like that. So it'll get massaged a lot. So one good thing I've always appreciated about Farmers Branch is the Parks Department is always sensitive to the needs of the neighbors. So they're not gonna put something in there that everybody's gonna not like. There may be 10% of the people, because you're never gonna keep everybody happy. But there'll be a lot of iterations of this before some, final outcome. And that's where we get to be involved in that.
And along that line, when we've done some citizen satisfaction surveys, feedback that we got was the desire for a splash pad. And so Squire Park was identified as a good location for a splash pad. There's space over there. It's kind of in the heart of the city. And so that's part of it too, would be upgraded playground equipment, a splash pad, more parking. So we will see. And staff, and you probably heard it when you were there, was staff cannot advocate for or against the bond. Your board members, your residents, you can do that. We as staff cannot advocate for or against. So I can sit here and provide the information, but we don't chart the course, we steer the ship. So, yes.
Let's point out the obvious, that like that area has always been predominantly Latin, so the Viva Festival, it's not surprising that there was a lot of people congregating in that area. But also like the Latin communities and have more emphasis on like community parks and stuff like that. So if y'all do upgrade or do anything to that park, I would highly recommend doing like a walkable path around the perimeter of it. So, you know, parents can walk that while the kids are in the interior.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
then ever since I've lived here, there's always been issues with teenagers and drugs and stuff like that at Squire Park, so
Yeah.
lighting.
Yeah, that, the lighting has been discussed as well. Yeah. And in that whole area, not just for that park, but in that area. But yeah, good comments. I appreciate that.
But to your point, it is set up to where there's 5 different deals and you can vote for 2 and vote no against on 3 or whatever. You can vote yes for all 5, and vote no for all 5. You can just, you can pick and choose. So I
Yes.
thought that was an interesting approach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's much better than they've done in the past, because a lot of times you want things together and people vote no because there's something on there that they don't want to fund. And so I think it's wise to divide it up.
So if anybody else is interested, there's information on the website about the debt that's rolling off that the city had, and then potentially acquiring new debt with the bond and how it kind of cancels it out. So if you're interested in learning more about that, definitely take a look at the website. There's a lot of information available out there. And feel free to share with your friends and if they have questions, and that way you can speak to that. And yeah, a lot of good information. And we're trying to make sure everybody who wants the information has the information and total transparency. So I think there was a lot of good information. We had a really good turnout last week at the Bond Town Hall, way more people than we expected. We had, I think, about 100 in person, and then a couple dozen online that were on the live stream. So there's definitely some interest. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm still on. So that was the branch connection. Mercer Park, still kind of on hold. There's not really a whole lot of updates.
Stand by.
Yeah, and then, we talked about Squire Park. So that's all I have for, unless anybody else has other questions, that's all I have for updates.
I have one suggestion, on the Venue 1842 website, make it pretty predominant and why y'all called it 1842, the land grants came in that year. Put that in the frequently asked questions, because some people might not know.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Okay, I will,
Before people knew.
share that.
That year the Forest Branch was founded.
No, it was the land grants.
The land
That
grants.
was For Mustang Branch.
Oh, see, there you go. I didn't know either.
Well, now we're up to 5 people that
That's
know.
what, it's when Farmers Branch was settled. Yeah, not incorporated. That's, 1946,
It
but
was Mustang Branch, right?
yeah.
There used to be wild Mustangs that ran up and down Cannon Creek, and there were.
It's named for the Mustang grape that grew in the area. Yeah, so people think like SMU Mustangs. It's like, no, it's for the Mustang grapes. Yeah, there's a whole history. It's a whole history. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a. From the Great White North Live. And so he gave us all this.
All the history. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
All righty, so let's move on to C6, receive an update from board members on parks, programs, events, or facilities attended in the city of Farmers Branch. So
I thought the Hoya reopening last time was fantastic.
that was,
Yeah.
Got the Christmas one already.
yeah.
Great.
The only feedback I've gotten from the Christmas one is the carolers where they were stationed, you couldn't hear them sing. And they were actually right across from Santa there.
I didn't even notice them.
Yeah,
I did.
So, yeah.
I didn't hear him, but I noticed him.
yeah, before when we were over at the Grove, they had them, wandering around. And so they might think about having them do that again. It's just so loud. It's just hard for a quartet to be
Yeah.
heard. I don't know where they would go that you could hear them,
I thought the Santa Claus house was great.
Yeah, it's,
That was awesome.
And the workers did a wonderful job.
they did awesome. I think the surprising thing is, I think we only got like $250, which is about half of what we got last year. And I don't have any explanation for it
Well,
other than the,
Can I
economy.
tell you what my thought is on that? I think because there was the red kettle, the Salvation Army kettle at the front this year that we haven't had in the past, so.
I didn't see that.
And,
Well, no, go ahead.
no, that was my thought, that maybe that cut into the cash.
Position of the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, we
Yeah.
had it in the wrong
Well,
position.
people don't carry cash,
Well,
really.
No, they do, because people,
I don't carry
from what I saw, people didn't pay until they were done. They didn't want to prepay. They wanted to pay when they were done. And as they would come off the stage, then they would have to cut through the line.
Yeah.
And some of them did.
Oh, many of them tried to give me money while I was on stage taking photographs. I'm like,
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm thinking we need to be more strategic in
Okay.
where we're putting the box.
The box actually to almost divide the line at a point where people coming off are there or people coming up are there.
Yeah, there's something
Or
like
at least
that.
get it on the inside of the
Yeah,
line.
because after you told me, after
$30.
I was following that.
Okay. I was like,
And
this
you
says
told
you're
me-
gonna email me.
I thought,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I
And I was
started
also
thinking.
thinking-
Well, last year we had it,
Yes.
the reason we did it at the pre this year is because we'd done it the pre last year and it seemed to work out a lot better because we got over like $450 or something.
Both places.
And that's why I couldn't, other than the economy,
Well, if you
because
put it like between it so they can catch it coming in or going out, that would probably be the most ideal.
yeah.
And I don't know about you, Dave, but like for me, when I was at the thing, people paid after they were done.
I mean, I,
Nobody-
Yeah.
we trust you guys. If you see something midstream.
No, we put it where we thought it was gonna be effective.
Yeah, and that's where I thought it'd be the best one. But
But to your point, we should have just moved it like right over. If we just moved it closer to that barn, to the barn rail, we could have got it going in both directions.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Jennifer's writing your notes down. She's gonna email me.
This is the first year you had someone on stage taking photos,
No,
like
No.
available to take photos?
No.
Because it felt like after I offered that, they wanted to hand me money.
Oh,
So,
You go to those places and they're like, here, now, I'm gonna take your photo. Now you have to pay me if
Yeah.
you want your photo.
they were like, oh, I make my donation to you.
Yeah,
then. And I'm
yeah.
like,
okay, so I think just moving that box
so
over.
next
Yeah,
year,
that-
make it and go drop it in the
Yeah.
box. No.
And I will say, I had a lot of people ask if they had to pay to see Santa. And and then you said, hey, there's no charge, but we take donations.
Yeah.
And then the majority of them did not pay. They just,
So I think the answer may be to have maybe up to 3 small box, have that mailbox and maybe have 2 other collection boxes strategically
Say
placed.
There's no charge,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
say
take out-
donations are accepted.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
say
little-
no charge, donations
a
are
little bit of
accepted.
signage or something, yeah.
Donation. Next year, we just take out the Salvation Army guy.
Yeah.
Or just move him over to us. Yeah.
Say, come on over, we'll split,
We'll put him
we'll split
over
it with
with
you.
us. Okay.
Probably a Venmo or something, but I think that's an easy way for people just to
Yeah.
see it, look at it and click and donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Because there are a lot of people that ask,
Yeah.
do you take a credit card?
Yeah.
And we went, no.
if you can have a QR code.
Mhm.
That was-
Yeah, then walk out.
So that way, yeah, because that was definitely coming up. No, I don't have any cash.
All righty.
Yeah.
Other feedbacks on other things?
Santa makes house calls and still wonderful.
Yeah.
So keep that.
That's a tradition. That's not going away. Yeah.
This may be a little bit off the issue, but one thing I noticed, this is at John Birch, when I went out to do went out and did the audit, and the stock tank is bone dry. And I'm thinking, people come out to look at this, they want to see waterfowl and stuff like that, whether, they're just sitting on dirt. I don't see why they couldn't pump water out of the Trinity to keep that at a constant level. That would be a fairly, that's kind of like our swimming pools, I keep my pool at a constant level because it's got that toilet flow system.
You might have issues with the, wildlife department and diverting water.
It's
Out
a,
of Trinity.
it's a,
Well, let's ask them.
I'll mention it to Ross.
Okay.
And the other thing too is I know we've had people say, well, are you gonna cut this back or trim this? And we're like, no, it's a natural habitat, like let nature do its
Yeah.
thing kind of. So, but I'll mention it because I'll mention it to Ross Pittman. He oversees that park. So I'll mention that to him. Cause I know it's a joint, that getting the Burke is a joint effort with other entities. It's
Yeah.
not just the city. So, but I'll write it down and he'll have a more eloquent answer for you than, I don't even want to make up stuff because I don't even know what to tell you, but I will find out.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah,
I
it's a very
love it.
nice
It's one of my
park, but
favorite
you,
spots.
having a dry spot there looks kind of yucky.
If you just can somehow just in your mind, take out the highway traffic noise and the noise of any planes coming over, you really feel like, oh,
Well, you could have somebody passing out headphones.
The silence.
Yeah, you have to kind of go in a little ways but if you,
Yeah,
I do, I actually go
Yeah.
every Saturday, actually, it's
I
fantastic.
love it.
And
Yeah.
All right.
Fortified.
Any other,
Yes. But I don't-
feedback on stuff?
It was better than nothing.
Yeah.
All righty, so let's move on to C7, review the 2024 city council meeting calendar. Is there,
So I just wanted to put this in here and you have a copy of it and we don't have to go over it verbatim, but I just wanted everybody to be aware that they've changed we don't do biannual updates anymore to council. It's just once a year. And so you have that on here and you have when the boards and commissions banquet is. So this is just for your reference, but we don't have to review it like it's a syllabus or anything. So I just want to. We
I can
don't.
send
Y'all
you
are
really
all
good.
very intelligent and you can read it. And if you have questions, so we do our biannual or we do an annual update once a year. The board chair meetings now happen, they're still quarterly, but they're in the evenings. Or are they twice a year now?
they're like,
So there's been some changes to those. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had the council meeting dates also. Of course, council meetings, everybody's invited.
I thought you were gonna say, Maria, when you sent out that it's like, okay, we gotta start attending city council.
Oh, no,
meetings
you
now.
don't know. There's no, they're also live, so they're on YouTube, on the city's YouTube channel. So even if you can't make it and you want to watch it, they're recorded, they're live streamed. So, you could be on YouTube and watching that or just listening.
Well, they recorded an index too, so if there's something.
Yes.
You can go to the index.
And that's on the website. Yeah, and so you could go to a specific agenda item and it'll take you to that spot in the video, so you don't have to try to scroll through the video and find it on YouTube. Thanks for bringing that up,
If you
Barbara.
go
That's
through
a good point.
the, city agenda and packets.
Yeah. So I just.
anything
wanted
else on that?
Okay.
All righty, our last item is to discuss potential agenda items for future meetings. So one thing I'm kind of pass this out I got this at the last board chair luncheons or with the mayor. And this is the city council strategic map. So there's different critical business outcomes and I don't want to go through all this tonight, but I just wanted to pass this out to you and we can talk about this on the next meeting. And it's in a way, it's how the council would like us to think about what we're doing as we're coming up with ideas or planning stuff. Like CBO3 is our support the evolution of the arts, culture, and recreation in Farmers Branch. How can we do a better job at that or improve overall and targeted community engagement? So it's just something to kind of a roadmap for where the city is heading. So as we start thinking about some of the things we want to do or things we want to suggest to the council, this is kind of an outline of what you might want to use. So we'll put that just as a brief discussion at the next meeting. Does anybody have any other agenda items? Y'all ready to leave?
Like YouTube.
I know, I'm
Not
not,
necessarily an agenda item, but there's a lot of talk out there that the 2026 World Cup is going to be at in Arlington,
okay.
the finals.
Interesting.
And if that happens, there's a lot.
I knew they were
There's
trying
a,
to get it, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
it's US, Canada, and Mexico.
No, that specifically,
There is a
no,
lot
Arlington
of
wanted it,
talk
but I didn't know the
out
Arlington had
today.
gotten it.
there's a lot of talk out today that will be
Okay,
awarded to
Jerry World,
Jerry World.
okay,
If that's the
that's
case,
breaking news.
there's a lot of ancillary activities that are gonna go on with that. And, you know, this is 2026, so we're talking way out there.
Mhm.
But, you know, and Jeff left just as we were doing that, but it may end up that there are some opportunities for the city on that.
Those types of events would probably be facilitated by economic development and tourism, where parks would support it. So same thing, kind of like with the pickleball tournament, it was their thing and we supported it. Well, it was Brookhaven's thing and
Yeah.
then we all supported it. But if that happens, what I can ask is Allison Cook, who's the Economic Development and Tourism Director, to come in and give an update. And potentially talk about hosting some of those events and see what opportunities we can have to support some of that. That's a great idea. So we can,
Okay, but now we need to
I know.
adjourn.
so,
Any other, I'm sorry, is
don't go, that's it. I'm done.
that it?
Whoa, somebody's got a
Oh, no,
motion.
I'm getting there.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Nobody, so do I hear a motion to adjourn? Jan, Adrian, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
So Mike's thing, I think, goes till 8:30. Oh, let me stop before
8:15.
8:30.
It's till 8:15.
Well, they'll
Yeah.
still be there at Bankhead over in Mustang Station. I'm not gonna make it, but y'all still have time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
That was a,
Change the status
You what?
on the board.
Let me.
yeah, right, you're the alternate, so that would make you,
Yeah, because I always keep quiet when y'all are voting.
So I need to see what